So,
Hello.
hi.
Hi.
The most unenthusiastic hello. I don't want to be here.
Honestly, I'm just too afraid to be too loud.
It's okay.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. I got it. I can do it all live. I am the master here. I
Yeah,
got.
he is. Yeah.
So we got a wide spread of topics today. I somehow we have to wrangle it together, but we were gonna start off by talking about Shrek and then move into some like goofy but very serious tech topics. First off, I don't know shit about Shrek other than the fact that Michael Myers loves playing him. So Raza, spit us off. Hot topics.
Shrek.
Lightning round.
Shrek's like 20th anniversary just passed by.
Okay.
Like a week ago, and I said, "Yeah, let's talk about Shrek." What I did not know, Bailey and Wine Mom, is that Shrek is banned in Israel. Did you know that? That blows my mind. So yeah, it's out of all places. I don't know why it's banned, but I think it has something to do with Eddie Murphy, or is it Eddie?
What?
Yeah, it is Eddie Murphy. Who plays
Because of Donkey?
Donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Damn, really? So because of Donkey, it's banned from Israel.
Maybe. I think we're just speculating at this point. but-
Israel was like, get out of my swamp.
Yeah, get out of the swamp.
No thanks.
That's a really good joke, actually, because it's timely.
Thank you,
Yeah,
I'll be here all week.
Yeah, make sure you pay your waitresses
Yeah.
fair wage. But yeah, I grew up watching those movies. Like, in my opinion, Shrek 1 and 2 are good, but then Shrek the Third was just like a cash grab. I think JT was in that one.
Yeah,
stuff.
makes sense.
But like, yeah, Shrek. Yeah, sorry.
I don't remember the third one. What was the third one?
See, I don't remember it either to really confirm how bad it was. But what I do remember of the 1 and 2 was like the musicals, and like how like it was the first time because Shrek wasn't like a Disney movie, right? It was like had adult themes to it, right?
Okay.
It had I was my knowledge about 3D animated movies at that point was all Disney. Was like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles and stuff. And then when I saw Shrek, I was just like, this is amazing. The metaphors in it, the themes in it, the fact that Lord, like, you basically see a gingerbread man get like cut in half, which was like that's like in a kids movie, and I was just, yeah, this is amazing.
Gumdrop button.
Yeah, that's too. And it's like I did like, and like the story to like the fairy tales, how they modernized it and brought it all like into the story about how the gingerbread man is an ally of Shrek, how Puss in Boots, who came in the later
Got his own sequel and everything.
He got a sequel, yeah. Was
that Antonio Banderas?
Not in this. I don't think he was in. And he got his TV show too, but I think that was him in his own thing. Otherwise, I don't. Or yeah, I don't know exactly because I didn't see it.
Is it problematic if it was Michael Myers
to do the Puss in Boots?
Accent?
Yeah,
probably. Now it would be, yeah.
I don't know. I liked Shrek, but I didn't follow the hype like everyone else.
All right, that's
like
fine.
I thought it was good, but like the whole stuff was a bit creepy. Like as an adult, looking back at it.
How old are you?
I don't even remember.
I was probably like in my early teens.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was young. I feel like I was so young, and
Same here.
I'm feeling quite foolish if I was much older and I thought it was okay.
Well, just check what year it came out.
Yeah, Shrek came in
20 years ago.
2004. Oh yeah, I lied. Math is hard. Sorry.
Wait, what year did Shrek the first movie come out?
I'm not sure.
2001.
2001. Okay. Yeah, you were definitely young.
Okay,
Yeah, so
that makes me feel better than I thought it was good when I was a kid. I was hesitant. I was like gonna be like, am I gonna say this shit? I thought it was good and I was like 15. I'm gonna fucking hurt.
but I did like the I Am a Believer, like the American Idol stuff at the end of the first one, I think, or the second one. And I thought this was a jam and stuff.
See,
but like, yeah.
That was
sorry.
unique at the time.
yeah.
Our weird internet comedy hasn't picked up that stuff just happens out of the blue. I'm sorry, Wine Mom.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say I don't like music numbers, like movies with lots of like music stuff. It's not my thing. So I watched it. I think I probably got stuck watching it with my sister or something, but I have not repeated Shrek.
I'm gonna have like I've been thinking about watching all of them since like fucking 3 because I haven't seen anything past 3. Are there more? Is there anything?
Yeah, there's
3?
a musical on Netflix. You have to watch the musical.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure Shrek franchise. I got it pulled up.
That hurts, bro.
Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. Doesn't count though. Puss in Boots.
There's Shrek 4D. And then there's Far, Far Away Idol. And then there's Donkey's Christmas Shrektacular. And then there's Shrek's Yule Log. And then there's Thriller Night. And then there's The Pig Who Cried Werewolf. And then there's Puss in Boots, The Three Diablos. And then there's the TV shows.
I'm assuming half of those things you mentioned are like Netflix shows.
Probably.
They're all short films.
See, when I see all the memes and stuff online, I only think of the first movie. Like that's where a lot of the memes come from. So it's like, why did they continue? Like,
even
so
the
much
second
money
one
off
too.
The first one, yeah. They could have just remastered.
Because of franchising. That's one of those creepy things where it's like, because they pump out the sequel, right? They're selling you Shrek the Third merchandise, but you're buying it for the kid. It's at the dollar store. It don't matter.
True.
They're making the same buck off of an old movie, and no one had even seen the new ones.
Yeah.
Right?
But, yeah, I agree. But, like, I remember is it in the second one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the second one. One of the major plot points that scarred me and changed my entire psyche about, like, sexuality was Donkey getting it on with a dragon. So
that's what I just said. The interspecies.
What? Yeah, no, that like I'm expanding on it, but like that was like one of the things that kind of screwed me up a little bit too. I was like, fucking
because like genetically that wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I was not a naive kid. Like I had a concept of at least it needs to be 2 humans. Like I understood that there was a thing involved, that some sort of action involved. Mm-hmm. It didn't. Even as a kid, I was sitting there like, how are the donkey dragons? Like, someone please explain the donkey dragons.
Very tiny little man with very big woman.
Was it a donkey head and a dragon body? Yeah. I forget. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They were kind of like little mini dragons.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. That was like that entire part. Like I understood why they did it, but like they want to because the dragon all of a sudden has a thing for donkey. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And then how far would they go with it in a kids movie? Mind you, this is a kids movie, and they're already introducing these concepts to kids at that age. You're like that stuff doesn't fly anymore.
I feel like I'm being traumatized. Like my childhood's being discussed in such a way where I'm like, that's actually low-key traumatizing. It's just like now every single time it's all Shrek.
Take a second and look at the stream. Those are the fucking
look
at the stream.
Oh my God.
So you're telling me that in this animated world, things are so perfect that babies turn out like that, right? Is that what you're telling me? God damn.
Oh my God, the one with the green eyes is a little intimidating, bro.
This is what they say. This is I can guarantee you this is a poster image for stem cells and stuff. They're like, we're against stem cells, so we're gonna use Donkey's offspring to be like
So
to
creepy.
get you off of that.
Okay, sorry, I had to interrupt with that. That was too. I'm sorry. That was needed. That had to be exposed. Okay, and so
No.
Wine Mom, we're sorry for ruining your childhood. Why do you feel that Shrek is so tainted now? Why can't you forgive him?
Well, it's not so much that it's tainted. I just feel like this is kind of like to shit on meme culture, but I feel like nowadays the internet is so boring that we take something and we just never let it go, and then we just end up ruining it. Like when I
Yeah.
see Shrek memes now, I'm so over it. I don't want to hear the songs. I don't want to see the videos. I don't want the memes. I'm so tired of it when people are like, "Oh, the perfect man doesn't exist," and it's like an animated Shrek.
Oh,
And I'm
come
like,
on.
no.
Come on, man. I
I
like
don't
those
want
memes
it.
where people have modded Shrek into like GTA or what's the game
Yeah.
called? Gary's mod and stuff, and he's doing all these weird shit. Like I was watching one just to hype myself up for this podcast where somebody modded Shrek and Donkey in GTA, and they're like Supermaning through the Los Santos skyline or fucking sky and stuff. It is jokes. I do
Yeah.
enjoy the Shrek culture and stuff, but to each their own.
Right.
The Shrek culture is now. Sorry, I thought you had a further expansion on Shrek culture. It's always been an intriguing one for me because I've seen that meme land as well, and I had the same feeling that no one's actually seen all the movies, and again, I think upon further review, a lot of people would see Shrek as much more problematic. So I find it like funny that it's like a memed about movie by a lot of people who may not approve of some of the jokes coming out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Like I see a lot of very liberal people memeing Shrek, and I'm like,
I don't think you would agree with that. Yeah.
I didn't think Shrek was that problematic until
No, well,
he's
what I think,
borderline, but it's like the typical storyline, like, oh, fucking poor white dude stumbles onto like, oh, he picked Fiona, and then it blah blah blah. It's not necessarily it's good because it's not body image. It's not saying that, but it's still just your typical fucking Shrek straight dude saves the day.
yeah.
Right.
There's a
Well,
lot of Farquaad jokes I'm pretty sure that we're missing. I remember seeing a
Yeah.
list of
Yeah.
Farquaad jokes that were extremely offensive.
Yeah, he's rough.
Yeah, like, and he's like a weird, like I think DreamWorks was going through a weird time.
Well,
with
but I
him.
think also that movie was making fun of like traditional fairy tale tropes.
Yeah.
I think was the whole point of the movie. I don't think it was meant to be offensive. It was meant to like make fun of the offensive things that have been in traditional fairy tales. Right?
I concur, and I think that's one of the things that like gets lost in the cancel culture. Like, I'm not saying it's necessarily particularly cool to make nowadays, but that's one of those like contextually with the era. It's like they were just trying to make satire. They weren't trying to be racist, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
like the whole like swamp thing about how he's an outsider, right? I thought even now, I just think like because he's because I was reading into it. It's because like if you want to dissect this movie for like analytical purposes, people have made the connection that that Shrek is actually like a metaphor for a colored person, and the reason why he's kept out is because the kingdom is like Caucasian, and he's quote unquote green, or he's green, but
He's actually white.
well, this guy
like,
made the argument that he's
yeah.
like he's not white because of his like how they treat him and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the argument.
I think it's applicable. I'm not gonna shit on it fully because I see how you get there too. I thought it was supposed to be this like self-obsessive thing about Michael Myers' career because he's in the same way you described, just not race. That is like Michael Myers being a creative, being shunned by the fucking industry, so he's the green guy in the swamp having to be extra like grumpy and goofy. And then when you get Donkey with him, he gets to come out and have fun. It was like an allegory for him in Wayne's World and being tough to work with, quote unquote, was the whole thing I heard.
Oh, really? But I always thought he was an easygoing dude.
not you should. There's a whole YouTube rabbit hole you want to go down. He got into a lot of drama with SNL was what started it over the Wayne's World shit.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like Lorne Michaels telling him like how to do and how to act and what to do. He was like always wanting to do his own characters and shit. So then like as he got famous, he stopped giving as much attention to SNL. So then Lorne Michaels started talking shit about him. And then by the time he was like making his second Wayne's World movie, he was like kind of like blackballed in some ways because he was always like he was trying to like direct and act. And that was a big no-no back in that time, right? So then he didn't really he did a couple more movies in between like his SNL time. Like his career kind of died after Wayne's World until like he just popped up. We only know him because of fucking Austin Powers happened when we were kids and we didn't even know who he was prior in that shit. Like Austin Powers was a comeback for Michael Myers.
Oh shit. Didn't know.
Right?
Didn't know that, yeah. I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was, but I guess not.
That's like his original career. He started as Wayne's World. That was one of the first SNL movie successes was Wayne's World.
Right.
Because
But
SNL paid for that movie.
I also think Mike Myers' career is like okay, he made The Love Guru, right? Y'all remember that train wreck?
I saw it.
I think
can I have one side rant about The Love Guru?
Yeah.
At the time, I had like an Indian girlfriend too, and like it's such a mind fuck seeing this movie because I went and saw The Love Guru with a bunch of brown people, and at the time we were just all so fucking perplexed coming out of that thing. Like we were not educated enough to know it was all wrong, but I can tell you coming out of that, we all felt a little uncomfortable.
But like it's also kind of weird because like his entire career has always been like caricatures of stereotypes, right? Like a lot of his roles. Austin Powers is one, Member is one, Dr. Evil is one, and 3 in one series. Friggin' Shrek is apparently one. The Glove Guru is one. Like he like kind of like I like him, but he kind of put himself in a box. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Yeah. And that's why he's in any movies anymore.
Yeah, I find I don't personally I don't watch movies and TV where a white guy is playing a character of a racial stereotype. I don't watch them because for me I'm just like, well, this is annoying and it like teaches and normalizes a behavior that should not be taught and normalized because the problem is that young kids watch things around to that thought process. It's like don't do that, please.
Yeah, it's like Logan Paul and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Well, I told that story because we were innocent at that time. We weren't educated enough. We went in there like, oh, this is gonna be funny because look, he's being kind of like an Indian dude, and then we walked over there like, that's
racist. That's a little
well, but think about it. Think about like when that happened, it was like fine and normalized, and everyone was okay, it's a funny like comedy movie, whatever. Let's move on. I didn't watch it, so I don't even know the context of it because like not even worth my time. But you think about like that's okay, that's all fine. But then people try to drag Russell Peters like later on for using his own cultural like upbringing for jokes, and it's like you realize that that's literally his life. Like that's he's imitating his own father. He should be allowed to do that. Like, why is it okay that Michael Myers can do that and like a successful movie? Confused.
I see the like I'm on your side completely, and because like I see the other side too. Like my parents, in general, like laugh at his jokes and like, yeah, this is so true, right?
Yeah.
But then there are other people in my family who are just like, okay, he's further perpetuating the stereotype. But to me, he's not really doing that, right? No. He's just he's making a observation on the stereotype. He isn't going out in his daily life and acting that way. He's only doing that for an act, which to me, like you're as a in a comedic world, it's kind of that's why like comedy, like stand up, like comedy is having a weird midlife crisis right now since they don't know, they haven't really had this this dilemma
Right.
of what our jokes what jokes can we say and what jokes will get us canceled. They really didn't have this even during the height of the Me Too. They didn't even need to worry about that. But
Right.
now,
Right.
for some reason, a lot of people in the industry are like just saying
Right.
like we're getting these vocal minority people saying like Russell Peters saying we're we're we are perpetuating the stereotype when they're not. Like
Right.
they're actual people. A lot of people say no, you're just making an observation, because that's all stand up is, an observation of
Mhm.
what you see. And if you're a part of that race and making an observation as a part of in that race, it doesn't do anything. You're just talking about it and
Right.
stuff like
Well,
like
here's
that.
the thing. Here's the thing about Russell Peters. And like, I know that it's not my cultural background, so it's not really my place to speak, but the reason why he is so successful is because he's making comedy in relation to his own life and his own culture. So,
Yeah.
yes, it's popular amongst white people, but when you look at comedians, it's traditionally white people. And so,
Yeah.
I believe when he started his career, he was like, I want to make people who come from the same world as me laugh, because
Mhm.
we're all laughing at the same, retold white guy joke by a different white guy. And so people want to make it about being politically correct or about a race thing. And it's like, no, he's just trying to make entertainment for his own,
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, so there, for some reason the attack was on him,
Hmm.
because I think it was because it's like, oh, he's supposed to be better. Because he's brown. He's supposed to
Right.
be better. He's
Well, I
supposed to
think
yeah, sorry.
people were just mad because he was a brown guy using his own culture to entertain white people. But I don't
Yeah.
think that was his point in becoming Russell Peters.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Like he
I
just
think
said, I
that's
want to make
yeah.
people laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a want to make people laugh.
It's
And
about
I've spoken
representation. That's what it is.
100%, 100%. And I've spoken to people about him, like colored people, and 9 times out of 10, the ones I've spoken to have no problem with it. They're like, yeah, it's the key word that they take out of it. It's relatable. That's why
Hmm.
they don't have a problem with it, because like his like Russell, you I'm gonna like you like he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass and stuff if you don't do the chores. I'm just like, that's so relatable to me, because that's like how
The
my mom,
somebody gonna get a hurt.
somebody gonna get hurt real bad or something like that. And then
Mhm.
he would talk to his white friends, and his white friend was like tell you your dad to go F himself. And I was like, that's so funny, because
Yep.
my white friends would tell me to do the exact same thing, and then I would
Mhm.
get my shit kicked in. But so
Yeah,
like I did like
but
that. I was like, yeah, sorry.
and it's like relatable. It's relatable, but then like the whole PC thing is, I still stand by completely by what Wine Mom says. I want to say that before I talk. I still
Mhm.
stand by what Wine Mom says, but like the argument then is like, specifically with a joke like that, it's not saying that it's wrong that he said it now. It's like, but should he still base his cultural stereotype jokes off of negative stereotypes? Is like often the
Yeah,
critique.
yeah,
See, I
but
don't think it's
yeah,
a negative stereotype per se. I think it's just his own. I hear you, but I think it's his own personal like
experience.
But
childhood.
even you, and this is me completely gray lines,
Mhm.
I have no idea where my gut falls on this. Is like, but even you
Mhm.
were saying, and I agree with, is like impressionable young kids could listen to that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so I
Which
don't
But
I
know.
agree with you.
I
Yeah.
don't
I hear you.
but like
know.
impressionable young brown kids will listen to that, and their growing up is completely different than
Right.
like white kids. And so they're
Exactly.
like, so like I think that like if they were to pick that up, they know that it's not true, because they live that life already. But if it was a
Well,
white kid, they'd be like, okay, that's true.
right. Well, even when he was doing comedy, my mom was watching his comedy shows, but like me and my sister weren't allowed to watch it.
Mhm.
It was clearly to be adult content and not for us to intake. It
Yeah,
wasn't until I was older and then I went back and started looking at his old stuff, mostly because I believe he's Canadian,
yeah,
right?
Yes, he's from
So
Toronto.
then I was like, oh, I'm interested and I wanted to go back and listen to his stuff. But again, it's like the one thing I think to take, like, my whole point is like, I'm not Indian or brown. It's not my culture background. It's not my life. It's not how I was raised and brought up. So it's not really my place to comment on whether it's okay or not. I just think it's important that because I believe that his sole purpose was to create representation for people that weren't being represented. Because it's the same thing as black comedians using black stereotypes for comedy, which we know very much that Cat Williams loves that. So,
well, Cat Williams is not okay no more in the culture either, though, right?
But
What
people
happened to
still
him?
use him as a joke reference and a meme
Right.
on a common occasion.
He got into a fight with a bunch of 14-year-olds, and then he couldn't come back after that.
Yeah.
There was like a series, like he got arrested, and then he got in a fight on IGTV, and then he got arrested again, and then he went and played soccer with some kids in the hood, and then got in a fight with like a 14-year-old kid.
But I mean, not only just Cat though. Like Eddie Murphy uses black stereotypes too. Like he just had a whole movie recently that was like used, I guess, his form of African stereotypes.
Oh yeah, it's coming to
the fucking
America.
Coming to America.
And that's the
but then
second one. It's not the first one.
But then he also made Dolomite, and Dolomite was a great documentary about blackexploitation.
Right, but this is my point, right? Like he uses the stereotypes, but yet he still had that's then giving a black voice a powerful stance. Regardless of jokes he makes, his opinion is still going to matter to people outside of like black representation. Like white people are going to go, oh, look at this funny guy that we know telling, us about something serious and important. Right. So it's like I get the point, but also, if they're still doing some sort of representation, right?
Yeah, like look at the Chappelle show, right? That's like the biggest one and stuff. Like when that came around, like I'm watching it now, right? And I'm noticing that there's a lot of shit that like skits wouldn't fly now, but like because of the time, obviously. But Dave Chappelle at that time, I applaud him for the Chappelle show for actually making black comedy more mainstream and stuff, like actually making it more of a wider thing that everybody could talk about it now, right? Because that's his whole thing. Like if you notice the thing about Dave Chappelle, he doesn't talk about like he says he doesn't talk too much about the race thing. He's more about like everything like around it. He just he sort of like does dwell into it, but it's not his shtick. Like colored comedians love the race thing. Like it's their go-to thing. It's their kryptonite because white comedians can't use it anymore.
Well, I mean, white people use it against them in a negative connotation all the time. So it's their opportunity to be like, oh, it's a negative thing, but like also now we're going to use it to like make a joke and kind of reclaim it, right? It's concept.
And it's like the reclaiming thing too. I don't understand like why do we need to reclaim our racial stereotypes again?
I mean, I get it because it's like it's always been held above their heads and used as a joke against them. And when you can like recite it back and kind of like, because now it's not okay for white people to really make those jokes anymore. Like you're going to get in trouble for doing it more likely.
So like it just repeats the cycle then. Like we can use it and then 20 years from now they can use it 20 years from now. So like if we want to break the cycle, I think colored comedians should stay away from it and be more clever, but that's just me.
But you'll be here for a long time, Raza, because it's not just comedians. It's music artists, it's TV shows, it's movies, it's branding.
But if we're talking in a speculation, like in like the thing, but yes, I really
Well, it's because then it's about I do fully agree, but then that's why it's about like how you talk within your community and how you want to discuss with your community, and like I think that's like the bigger issue with some of these comedians now, right? Is because they have a way that's a safe space within their community, whether it's the fucking obnoxious white guy or LGBTQ comedian, right? And then when you branch outside of that, someone is going to find offense in something you were saying. Whether it's a white guy watching a gay comedian get offended because he feels prejudiced against because he's a racist, or there's someone calling Dave Chappelle outdated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hard because these lines are blurred between communities, so you're not gonna be able to like find a defined line of where like humor is acceptable for stereotypes anymore.
And there's going to be no clear answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as time goes on, those lines that you brought up are gonna get even more blurry. and
Well, think
stuff, which-
about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
think
it's
about
fine.
in media right now. What's become really popular, and I know this is like kind of teetering away from like the funniness of Shrek right now, is what we were talking about. But there's this trend right now, big YouTubers or selling end passes online, and it's like,
I heard about that.
how have we culturally reverted back to that, which is like something that was going on in like the early 2000s. Like, why are we like, no, there is no such thing as a pass. It's just don't. Like,
Yeah.
you
There
know?
was like I don't know, and it's very interesting because the lines will get blurred, and then
Mhm.
there's like slight microaggressions towards cultures between like TOSs, right? Because
Mhm.
IG recently updated that if you make any sort of comment that is directed in a negative way towards someone, they will flag it and it will be flagged on your account. So if me and you have the sense of humor, if because of the way we joke, oh, you're an idiot, oh, you're so dumb, you'll get flagged on Instagram for saying that,
Yeah.
right? So that's almost like in itself a form of saying it's not okay to talk that way. You're not allowed to talk this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and at that point, like what Bailey just said, when things start to happen like that, it takes it away from other people. Now you're more concerned about self. You're like, you're not saying, "Oh, you're like this offends people." You're saying it offends you, right? So, like, once you make it about yourself, you sort of ruin it. Well, you don't ruin it. You sort of like change the social like
Right.
aspect of it, because then people are like, well, because now in today's culture, people love piggybacking off of other people's ideas, and like once one person gets offended by a stand-up comedian, you will hear 20, 30 other people the next day, and then 100 people the next day, and then his career is done. So it like once a person says it, it's like they always say this is bad, right? But they don't ever say who it's bad for. If you've noticed that, they only say it's bad. But so I'm noticing this pattern. They're saying it's bad, but then I'm asking myself, is it bad for the community or is it bad for just you? And 9 times out of 10, it's just them and stuff.
Right.
That's where my issue is.
Well, Instagram has bigger problems than
Yeah.
people
Instagram has bigger problems. Yeah.
significantly bigger.
Yeah.
One that they really need to get a hold of. But
I
that's, I guess, combo for another day.
Once
They all do. I was ranting about it earlier today, though. The issue is none of that shit makes them money. As long as they can still sell ads, they don't give a fuck. So it's like YouTube still got all those predators hidden in there. They still got all the scams in YouTube. But like, as long as they can still sell the ads on the kids' videos, then fucking whatever. Kevin still opens his toys. That's all we care about. Right? So it's like, how do you push these companies towards action, right? Like that ain't
lost money. That's the only way to do it, and that's not going to happen.
You can't take money away from Instagram. There's no action you can take, right?
No.
Yeah. So all those TOS updates are just empty, like performative and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A little bit,
basically.
All right.
Well, it's like there's this new trend that's going to happen on YouTube. Like, regardless of, I think we've talked about this recently, regardless of whether you have a monetized channel or not, YouTube is going to be making money off of the channel. So let's say you've gone through the becoming monetized and you have ads on your video. And let's say I have a YouTube channel and it's not at the same level as yours, so I'm not monetized yet. But YouTube can still put ads on my video and obtain revenue, which I think like a lot of businesses are going to start doing that because it's the only way to like get around bad content. And I think that's why YouTube's doing it, because they're losing money and they know that if they just monetize as a platform and not as individual creators, they're going to start making more money.
Yeah. God. Why are we getting into this YouTube game? It was so broken, Bailey.
That's why we're spreading our net.
Well, that's why you have to be careful what you say in conversations.
And it's getting bad with those topics. Like that's what I was looking into a lot of those like censorship on the YouTube now, and it's bruh, bro, with the stuff it's impossible to even have a positive conversation about something.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say you want to expose a scam, your video will get taken down for talking about MLM or something. And then, you send an email and a fucking robot is going to review it again? Unless we have a name, unless you already have an established name, why are they going to give a shit? Like, you have to be able to drum up enough attention on Twitter or social media for YouTube to even respond to you nowadays. So it's like, I don't understand how it's supposed to get better if they can't realize the human side of their issue because they're too blinded by, as I said, Kevin's still opening the toys, so that's all they give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
because
like
we're not the profit margin. They don't care that we're getting censored and shut out because they barely make money off of us.
Yep. That's why sponsorship is so important. And that's why so many of big YouTubers that you've probably been watching for many years have significantly more sponsored content or sponsored advertising in their videos because they're just not making money.
And I think a lot of content creators are combating that specific thing by joining a network. Like Smosh, for example, they are part of a big digital network that is owned by Warner Bros.
And that's super dangerous for creators because we all know what happened with like machinima and stuff like that when creators end up losing huge chunks of money and also ownership to their content. Like,
so that's
we don't want that again.
So
Smosh themselves made that mistake.
No, but here's the thing: what happened with Mythic? Was it Mythic? The last company that owned them went bankrupt, right? And all of their content on that network, they got all the rights back to it almost immediately. The same thing happened with a Machinima. When Inside Gaming left Machinima and created Funhouse, Machinima went under, and then Funhouse got all that content back. So like, I do agree. Like, it is super dangerous. I 100% agree because you're like signing over your content over, and you don't own anything. That's why Bailey and I agreed to do it on like a freelance thing or controller thing. But right now, unfortunately, that seems to be the only way to get past this ad problem because you are guaranteed money and you're guaranteed resources and stuff, and you have the protection of this network. Unfortunately,
which not even in a cocky way, it makes me feel bad for people because it takes away the creativity of it. You have to have
100%.
You have to have the skills that me or you have now to be able to comprehend how to get into it. Like, you're not able to just make YouTube videos anymore. And especially for someone like Wine Mom, like the creators you enjoy, none of the creators you enjoy would be able to, you wouldn't find anyone new in today's environment.
No.
Yeah. Like, you have to know more than a little now. Like, you have to actually train yourself to get at least your toes in the water.
Yeah.
Back then, you could just upload anything. That's why content creators like the ones that we've talked about are big now, because they got in when it was so goddamn easy, when it wasn't broken.
Well, and I think that's the big problem with YouTube is they're struggling to adapt and change and become new. And it's like, in turn, like personally, I feel like YouTube is just aging themselves in the current market of like social media. And eventually people are going to stop using YouTube. Like, a lot of creators I know already have moved to like websites, or they're uploading on places like Vimeo or Patreon instead, because they're not getting, restricted or watched, right? With everything they do.
This is what happens because when YouTube joined Google, this is to Bailey's point, and even to your point, the control, like YouTube lost that sense of control. They're like, now they have to be in line with Google's terms of service. Now they have to agree with
Well-
everything they want. Same thing with Instagram on Facebook, right?
It's-
They have to-
Right.
yeah.
But
yeah, sorry.
according to YouTube, if you're a news channel, like a traditional news channel from TV from cable, you can talk about whatever you want and be monetized. But if it's someone like, and I say, for example, Philip DeFranco, if he does the same thing and ask me his channel, basically formatted the same as like a news channel, it does cover some more pop culture stuff, he gets
Right.
demonetized. It's the same
It's-
topic, same videos. Why?
And this because it's the same thing I started with, right? They make a fuck of a lot more money off the Jimmys than they do the Phillips, because they know Phillips
Right.
already going to secure his most ads. NBC will give YouTube the bag if they ask for it.
Mm.
Philip won't.
Yeah,
Philip don't
dude.
give a fuck.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
NBC,
I hear you.
YouTube can go like, hey, you want proper ads on your thing? You want the best-selling ads? Like, come on, put all your Jimmy episodes on here. We don't want just the
Right.
clips. There's all that
No.
shit going
Jimmy
on
is so
too, right?
weird.
I hear you, and I agree
I'm supporting
that that's
you if anything.
true.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I hear you and I agree, right? But the issue
Mm-hmm.
is like YouTube needs to like sit down and think about that, because as I said, like they're aging themselves as far as the internet goes, and eventually and they are going to make their own new YouTube. So I think about like when we were kids, when YouTube first started, the types of videos you could quite easily find just by Googling them or going onto YouTube. It's not even a possibility now. Like, forget about it, right?
That's one of my rants business-wise that I've witnessed like through my career a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're stuck because YouTube is such a large organization, as Raza said, since they were purchased by Google, that they don't know how to keep up with the times, and they need to either decide to go like one or the other, or to like segment the platform. But they're so worried about still being a professional company with a good image that they haven't figured out how to appease the actual content and the community that's on their platform.
Right. It's like, who are you trying
versus-
to convince, us or yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
And-
versus the other platforms, like Twitch arguably is not great on it, but their willingness to attempt to communicate with the community will still develop like a devout fan base of some sort. Whether or not you're banging with them or against them, there's going to be people talking about it and caring about it rather than just getting
Right.
angry at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Twitter, I'm a little bit biased, but Twitter also kind of does a good job, but the bar is so low, but kind of does a good job at communicating what is good and what isn't, because they don't really, it's like a different
Twitter
beast on-
doesn't care. Twitter's
Yeah,
like, we're free
Twitter do-
speech platform, so if you don't like it, don't come here. Bye.
there is some sort of, okay,
Unless you're
they
Donald
do-
Trump, then you gotta go.
But they do care to a degree. Like when the elections were happening, they were like, Facebook was even having the same issue. Is that a lot of unverified news was just going into the zeitgeist of everybody's minds
Yeah,
through
and again,
these two channels.
Again, it's the rich partners too with Twitter, man. You want to get a permaban on Twitter right quick? I dare you to repost a clip from the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
They're
100%.
gonna fucking come down on you, bro.
Or the UFC. Now it's the UFC now. Yeah.
That's true, because they make the privacy deals, right? Those are all the behind the scenes stuff. There are exclusivity deals, but between these larger organizations, like media representation organizations like WMG, it's not like the UFC meets with them. It's like their agents. These agents meet with them and negotiate these copyright deals. I'll pay you this much money to make sure that if someone reposts a Young Thug song, you fucking delete that shit right away, you bitch.
All right.
Damn.
But you know who doesn't have to deal with these issues? Like the place that doesn't have to deal with any of these issues, because they've just said we're not going to even allow you to do this. I was going to say China, but yeah, let's go on.
Wait, what? I missed that.
I'm trying to segue to I tried to segue to China, but he brought up. But Reddit is dude. I was on Reddit today, and like the 3 top growing Reddits are like Wall Street Bets, this alt-right one and the conservative one. I was like, well, how that makes so much sense now, is because all the guys, when Parler got shut down, that like the conservative Twitter echo chamber, all of those guys went over to Reddit and stuff.
You can't share Donald Trump's blog on Twitter. That's why you got to share Donald Trump's blog on Reddit, bro.
That too. That too. That too. I thought it was deeper than that, but
that guy should just have his internet router removed. Period. Don't give him any more access.
Have you seen his press?
No.
That's it. That's on his blog. He's got a blog. It's a social network. It's the Trump social network. It's a WordPress website. Holy fuck.
His son said, "Dad, this is Twitter," and he's like, "Okay, Eric."
Yeah, pretty much, right? Why can I type more bullshit this time?
Where's my
character limit?
How come people aren't liking or retweeting my stuff? What is that? It's like the Google. It's like a Word doc of like, it just says Twitter on top. It's like
his little personal diary.
Yeah.
And then I'm chuckling because Raza, you know from being a writer, is like, you know those spam bots? He's probably fallen for the spam bots on your blog.
Oh post. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like how
click this to get 10,000 views on your article.
He's like, what? It takes him to like this weird like Russian website. He's like, the Russians are back. The Russians are back.
God.
That's a joke.
No, but yeah, China's interesting. Sorry.
Yeah. So China's interesting. The segue Raza was going to is quite cool and actually timely with our copyright discussion, because China already had many like North American websites banned, and they banned the fuck out of like pretty much every social and media sharing platform we consume in Western media.
Mm-hmm. Like Wine Mom's favorite app in the whole wide world, MySpace. No.
Are you making a Tumblr joke?
No, I'm making a MySpace joke.
Oh, okay.
But
I
that too.
actually heard her feelings with that. But Tumblr is banned as well.
It is banned.
Well, Tumblr is banned everywhere. Let's be real. Nobody wants that website anymore.
Well, no, I was actually making a reference to TikTok, because TikTok is banned in.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
And they own the shit. That's what's obnoxious about it.
But they're still making money.
Well,
we own this. We want all your North American data, but no, our citizens can't use it. It's like,
well, that's smart.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, if they're using, I guess you get is maybe like some sort of spy technology or something, which is why Trump tried to ban it.
The thing is, we all do. It's hard. They all do. Everyone's spying. Everyone's spying.
I like how like people.
It's on the internet. It's not very hard to spy anymore. Yeah.
I like how people are like, don't download TikTok. It has Chinese spyware. He says on his iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like on my Steve Jobs iPhone using my Hotmail account.
Yeah. Which I purchased with my debit card.
Have you guys ever seen that video where I can't remember the name of the group, but it's like some guys on YouTube, and they decide to call up the Masons, like the Masonry, and they literally Google the phone number and they get a direct like line right to them, and then they're like all sitting in the car laughing, and they're like, I literally Googled the number. It's like, that's how easy.
Yeah.
All on Google.
Yeah. Like we prank phone call, like growing up. We used to prank phone call a lot of people, and like people's numbers were very easy. You were easily able to get them because people would just put them in the phone book.
No. I remember people, like when I was in high school, people would open their Facebook at the end of the day to like put their phone number in their Facebook.
Oh yeah,
and be like, text me if you're bored. And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, you're gonna have that number.
I'm so grateful I didn't have a cell phone till like I was in college. So I didn't deal with that shit.
It's just like, why would you just invite like random people? Because that's another thing too. All these people on your Facebook list, like you don't actually know them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of my friends, she said, "Here's my text on here's my cell phone number on Twitter."
Oh, no.
text me.
No.
Stuff like that. Yeah, and she did
No.
that, but fortunately, nobody texted her except for like me.
Fortunately.
Yeah, fortunately.
And then we
So-
dated for 5 years after that.
No, she plays for the other team, so I can't.
No. But the whole point is like back when we were younger, like the way that we used the internet back then, there was no form of privacy because we didn't
Yeah.
think that the internet was a place that like, you know, you could be tracked back to your home.
Yeah, and my dad is so smart. He doesn't have social media, and
Yeah.
we would always like roll our eyes, like, "Yeah, Dad, you're like watch too many conspiracy theory videos."
Yeah.
He's just like, on this laptop I'm using, he has the webcam. He has like duct tape on it and stuff,
Yeah.
or like electric
And
tape.
mine's covered too.
Yeah. So like now I kind of like agree with my dad because if anything happened, he's safe, right? He's like 100% safe. The only thing they can track him on is his cell phone and his debit card. But other than that, he barely uses it.
Honestly, when I learned that the BTK was tracked back to his church from a floppy disk, that's when I knew it was over for me. It's like, I'm good.
You're like, okay. Well, my mom is just like, if they can find a serial killer, they can find me.
Well, I mean, from a floppy disk, Raza?
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
know.
Bro, I know we grew up in Scarborough, but my mom specifically was the person who was like most influential in my life to be like, yo, don't use government names. Like, yo, stop using government names. It's like,
No thanks.
I
Never
to
use
this
my last
day,
name.
I hear a wine mom's voice in my head, like, don't use government names in public.
Well, because that's always been a
Really?
thing for me. I've never. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure if you Google my last name, I don't come up.
Okay.
And I specifically did that because I've experienced issues with people online, like trying to harass you, right? And it's like, I'm good. I don't want some random person harassing me. Forget it.
See, the good thing about my last name is that there's 4,000 people who come before me, so like I'm okay with that. So again, being brown, you have some sort of perks in this white society that you kind of just like excel at.
When I first made Facebook, the very first thing I did, like I've always had the same name on Facebook because I've never used my last name. But the first thing I did was Google my full government name on Facebook.
Right.
And there's one other person with my full government name on Facebook.
Shit.
So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to use my name. I'm good.
That's smart. Yeah. Especially with a first name like yours, that is kind of common too, right?
Yeah.
So like it does make sense that you want to be safe. But like, even with Bailey's name, all spellings, it's like you can still be because your name is hella Caucasian, and like people are going to use that a lot.
But it gets misspelled like nuts. I get unfortunate. I mean, I get lost in the algorithm because it's a weird name.
Yeah. Like I know 20 Baileys. That's how.
Yeah, but
common
none of them are spelled B. As soon as you spell it correctly, then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the only one that's like spelled like a fucking math equation.
Well, it's like I think about kids I know from high school who were referred to by their last name. And it's like, do you know how easy it is to tattletale on you to your mom? Now that we know your last name, like it's over for you. Tattletale on you so easy.
It is kind of jokes because like I would do that because like growing up, my last name wouldn't be common in my school, so people would be like, it's just Raza Milk, right? Because they couldn't ever spell my last name right. So I just said, no, fine. Let the government find out I'm a dairy product.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Mine was always like Narang. Everyone thought I was Narang. It's like I don't know what culture you think that's from, but I don't think I.
My mom,
like that.
when she saw your name, it was like Bailey Gnarly. What type of fucking stupid name is that? I was like, it's Nargang.
LOL.
She didn't say the F word, but she was like, that's just like, what type of stupid name is this? I was like, Mom, he's special.
Malik.
Yeah, don't be mean to the white guy.
Yeah, he's kind of a jackass, but he's my jackass.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but yeah, like she said, like if like people like your name is hella unique. and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Well, I think because I think about on Twitter, it's so often people that I follow on there like, oh, going private, searching for a job, and it's like, why does your Twitter have your last name? Like, why did you do that? Like, you talk shit. Like, are you
Bailey,
okay?
anecdotal story. Bailey put it Bailey. I forget what Bailey said to me, but he didn't actually say let's change your entire online persona. He says yeah, bro, if we get big, your Twitter account may cause some problems. So instead of changing my entire online persona, I just said I'm just gonna change my name and stuff because I'm not.
Well, it's like when I get a new doctor, or even when I started seeing my therapist, what I did was look for their Twitter because I know I know your last name. Even as a medical professional, where I know it's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucks because you have to do it too. I wish you could just defraud the government and give a fake name.
I know.
And get
Bro, I was so sassy.
Always...
I was so sassy about that getting my COVID test. I didn't want to. I would get a COVID test, but I don't want to give you my health card. Who the fuck are you? You're just some private ass company. You're literally not the government. Give me my COVID test. Tell me if I have Rona or not. You don't need any of my private information.
No.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, what's your phone number? What's your email? And where do you live? It's like, no, my name is Bailey. Tell me the results.
Yeah.
Am I dying or what? That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Well, there's always those memes online of girls talking about when they meet, when their friends are like, oh, so what do you know about this guy? And they're like, nothing. But in their heads, they're like, I've already Googled him. I know where he went on his vacation in 2000. It's like, you guys are stupid and use your last name on everything.
Yeah.
Phone numbers all over the internet.
I thought, well, when I got rid of Facebook, what I did it was you can't really get rid of your Facebook account because you can delete it, but what the fuck does that even mean? Right?
Well, actually, you can. So just to clarify, in case anybody is really ever, you can message Facebook and email with them, and they delete your database of content. But
you should sorry.
So my girlfriend actually, she did that. And she said it took her
almost
to get them to delete her data.
How long?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
To delete your data.
Of emailing back and forth every day. And they would try and say, oh, no, delete it. Literally just delete it.
It's this weird institutional thing that happens even with banks. The example that came to mind is banks. Banks are so quick to take your money, but when you want to get it away, you want to take it out. They're like,
why
brain outside of body. I don't know what money is now and stuff. So it's so easy to sign up for a Facebook account, but when you want to get rid of it, Mark Zuckerberg is deleting what? I'm a reptile. Like that. Sorry, I can't. But yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah. But even with Twitter, you can delete your account and it permanently. I don't know if that's 100% accurate because when you delete your account, you have 30 days, and then after 30 days, it's gone permanently. I don't know how permanent that is though. So
Twitter claims it is. They were trying to be. They tried to take a stance as a better than Mark, so they tried to say that they delete it. They say they do, but it's the you got the Wayback Machine, as it were. You know what I mean?
I just always think about dating apps because they take your email, your phone number, and your active location most of the time. So it's if somebody is smart enough to figure out how to hack the app, I don't know, and get your info, or they're smart enough to figure, oh, she's 5 miles away from me, I'm just gonna do the radius, and hopefully I'll see her somewhere.
Snapchat. If you're on Snapchat, you're making a database. You're mapping the inside of your house.
Yes, that's literally I read about that.
I had to fight with one of my friends. I was like, you need to snap location. And they're like, no, like I want it for this and this. I'm like, you need to remove your snap location. I can see your front porch. Like, it's gotta go, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Honestly.
no.
Honestly.
It's
But, like,
it's terrifying, bro. That shit scares
is.
the fuck out of me.
I was reading an article, like, if you're coding, like, if you're good in coding and good at like programming and stuff, you can actually poison your data, quote unquote, poison your data, so you can screw it. It'll screw up the Facebook machine to like be like, is this person real or not? Yeah,
I have a friend that works for a cell phone company, and I started getting all these random phone calls, and I asked him, like, we were just talking about it, and he yelled at me and was very angry that I was answering phone calls of names, numbers that I don't distinctly know. He was like, they'll hack your phone. Stop doing that. Don't do that anymore. I got in big trouble.
Smart friend you
can't do that
had
no
there.
more, yeah.
But, you know, like, you think it's like your doctor's office or something. You don't know.
See, on like, I'm an Android head, so I'm superior than both of you.
Okay, bud.
So like, you can actually set up your phone, your Android phone, so it tells you what type of caller is calling. So when it's a unknown number, it said potential fraud, right? So I never answered that, but I like, when you pick up, like, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I was reading, if you hear, like, when you pick up any like call, and if you hear a little humming noise behind a call and you're talking to somebody, that humming noise is you being recorded without your consent. That happens usually when a telemarketer calls you. And then I found out, if you answer a telemarketer's call, you are automatically added to a list that says, okay, you can call them. But then I found out is if you type in pound something, I forget the digits, it automatically blocks.
There's a lot of laws in Canada. It doesn't. It's supposed to automatically block you, but then it's like, oh, that list was already sold to some company here, and then they sold it to another company in India. It gets really annoying.
Really?
Fortunately, we are in Canada. There's like literally a hotline you can call to ask for your phone number to be removed. If that really is annoying you, Raza.
Oh no, it isn't like it. Like, I called it like a month ago, and I haven't gotten a call back.
For real?
Yeah,
that's a shame. That's a shame. I've always been so proud of that shit. That's like here I am talking. Oh, Raza, call the hotline.
My dad was like call this, because when we switched from so I was at Bell initially, and you didn't need to do that because Bell did it for you, right? But at Kudo, I'm at Kudo. Kudo's like, we don't do that. You have to do it on your own. It's like, but I want you to do it for me. I pay you $75 a month, so do it.
I feel like that should be an automatic service with a cell phone company.
In the states, it is. In most phone carriers, it's 100% automatic and stuff.
So the ready for the paranoid one that I will not do. I want to do, but I have not done. The fucking DNA tests.
Do not do ancestry.
Yeah, don't do
DNA.
that.
Don't do that shit.
No.
Yeah, they own it. They own your genetic coding.
So there was a man who was arrested, I think 2018 or 2019, and he was a serial killer from like the mid to late 80s. Yeah. And he was arrested at the ripe old age of like 80 something. And they got his DNA from a cut. So there was some sort of identifier saying to an ancestry database.
Okay, this is too intriguing. You cut out, and I really want to
bring the mic closer. Okay.
You got me excited. I'm sorry. That's why I have to do.
So
he is at the ripe old age of 80 something, and then
they tested. So they tested his DNA against Ancestry and found a cousin. And then they tracked his cousin's line to find like a family member that fit the right age and stuff. That's how they found him. So they did it. Yeah. Oh, they went to his house and they took his DNA from the garbage can and then matched it to the 80s. And that's how they caught him.
Damn.
Okay. Oh my
That's
god.
a cool one.
That's not cool at all.
Okay, so just
Terrifying.
for reference, his name is the original Night Stalker. It's Joseph James D'Angelo. It was a very big story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. That's cool. That's a cool one. Yeah, that shit
Yeah.
fucking terrifies me. Then my secondary one is the filters on your IG. It's like you're mapping your face. You're giving your face to facial recognition software every time you use.
Well,
a filter
you
on
have an
IG.
iPhone, Bailey. Do you not? And
I
when you
don't use-
unlock your iPhone with your face, it's already doing that.
I use my thumb still because I'm a.
I do my
dork.
thumb. I do my thumb. Here's
Well, you have a front-facing camera.
Here's my phone. Can I do it on
I got an iPhone 8 and I'm about to switch before I have to upgrade to the face one.
Yeah. But no, a big thing that I stress to people is like, do not do ancestry DNA because, and it's not even just if you want to commit a crime. It's just like, you don't need somebody having your DNA and possibly linking you to anything ever.
Or cloning you.
So no, thank you.
Or selling it to the insurance companies and then fucking you for the rest of your life.
Right.
Since talking like this DNA thing, do you guys like know how there's that show on the History Channel where they get celebrities and they like look at their history and stuff? Did you guys did you guys hear about the one that would Ben Affleck one?
No.
Oh, the one where he was.
Yeah, so I'll tell
owners. Okay, go.
Right. You can tell.
Sorry,
right?
I spoiled it. Go. It's my fault.
Like,
I spoiled it, but go.
Okay, they discovered he had slave owners in his lineage, right? And he tried to get that show taken or that episode taken off the air because he had white guilt. But I think it's still aired. But like,
it's still aired.
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah,
because it's going to create negative hype.
Yeah.
The story, Bailey?
He got the bad hype because he white guilted it. He thought he was doing the right thing by doing the episode. He did this whole episode like, oh, I found this out and I feel bad and this is horrible. But then everyone is like, it's just a whole episode of like, oh, feel bad for Ben Affleck. He's related to a slave owner. It kind of like was very counterproductive to the point of the discussion that rightfully he may have been trying to lead. But it was 100% like, oh, poor Ben Affleck. Like,
it's a very awkward thing. Like, what are you supposed to do? Do you try and sweep it under the rug, or do you say, "Yep, sorry, everyone, the rumors are true"?
Yeah, so that was a funny one. I was like, do you be mad at him for that? Because he was trying to do the right thing, but
I was chuckling at the fact that he was trying to cancel it and stuff like that. Because like,
just like don't do DNA testing, please.
Yeah, yeah, Bailey, I can tell you your DNA test just from looking at you. You're white. There you go.
There you go.
Pay me.
Yeah, let's not look into it. I don't want to know right now.
People are like, what is your background? People always ask me that. What is your background? I'm Canadian. I'm white.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I told you guys the story. Like all of my white friends can tell me they're like DNA stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'm Spanish. But then to me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm this. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else. But then I have to go centuries fucking deep into my.
Well, there was a point in time where it was a trend. Like 5 different backgrounds. Like when we were in high school, people would be like, "Oh, I'm all of these different backgrounds." Like,
yeah,
no, you're like, just maybe you're like Irish white or like German white, white. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Some kid in my high school, like he found out he was like 00 like 10th like Cherokee or something. He's like, y'all are just on my land. I'm like, bro, your name is Steven, and you're like the whitest kid I know. All right.
Yeah.
You're Dutch. You told me you were Dutch last week. Okay. You're not that. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, people would be like, "Oh, I'm a quarter this, and I'm half this," and it's like, what is a quarter? What?
Yeah.
Why do I care?
Yeah.
It's like it's interesting to meet people that have like are like significantly something like they're like 60% like Native American and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then when you're like, yeah, I'm like a pizza slice of a tribe.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fraction. that's how much I am of that tribe. Like that doesn't count. That's me saying I'm a full-fledged Canadian. I'm not. I'm a Pakistani.
Well, what gets even better is like they'll say that like I'm a quarter, but like, do you even like check into your own cultural background? Do you practice
Yeah.
any of that stuff, or are you just using it for the out of being like I'm mixed?
Yeah.
Okay,
My one friend's dad is white, and he gets the because he's Native American himself. He's like less
white
than half.
passing.
Yeah, he's white passing, but he's less than half. But he's able to get the stuff that the Native Americans can get, like the discounts and stuff.
Oh, it's a tax exempt card,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
not a discount.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I was thinking about my dad's senior citizen stuff.
It's okay. It's okay. No, it's a tax
Um,
exempt. It's a tax
yeah.
exempt.
Yeah,
'Cause it's their land anyways. So
I don't know,
100%.
as I told the story
Y'all should
before.
be paying taxes, not me.
yeah. Sorry.
I told the story before. I had this shit kind of like humbled to me when it was like I went to Scotland and I asked my great aunt in Scotland. It was like, oh, so where's everyone from in Scotland? They're like, here.
Here.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what do you mean? Like, what about your grandparents? It's like, I don't know, like some town over there. It's like, oh, it's like not even just it's like North American white people. Like they just don't. As soon as you go to that small town or change that perspective, you take it outside of like let's Western obsessing over your culture. It's like, yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't give a fuck. I'm from here. I'm Scottish. I don't know. I don't give
Yeah,
a fuck.
because I think like European people like know where they come from more than us, or well, more than North American people.
true.
They have an understanding because they're surrounded by it and stuff. Whereas like even I go to Pakistan and like I discovered one of my relatives. He's like passed right now. He was one of the biggest, I think, chemists of his time, or scientists of his time, and his shit is being taught in like Canadian and American textbooks and like science stuff. So like it's cool like reading up on your family, but then when you go to like, yeah, this guy is so and so, he comes from a certain tribe, I'm just like, how does that relate to me? Because that tribe doesn't exist anymore. So
Right.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
see
think
where you're
that's a
coming
big thing for me. It's like if my mom was ever like, "Oh, we're like from this background," I'm like, "Oh, it's really cool that like my ancestors experienced that, but I'm white. I am white. I have been filtered enough. Thanks."
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
it's
very
just
true.
like I think those DNA tests are also a sham as well. They take
Yeah.
your
No, I
money
agree.
and your fucking DNA, and
Mhm.
and then you have like you could have a Bailey clone in like 30 years.
Creepy.
Well, that more so than like so that the Rona anti-maskers are gonna hop on board on this one, but it's another like it's a private company. I'm like sending you my swab, and you're just gonna tell me what it is. Like who's verifying this? You're just some company that I'm mailing this
He
shit to.
says after he booked it on his computer with internet and stuff. That's how you. That's how like what I'm coming to terms with. That's how you counter the anti-maskers and stuff.
Well, it's like the reality is like we're constant. I mean,
Like,
CCTV is
mhm.
so.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the game Watch Dogs is basically a fucking parallel reality. It's going to become a reality, and we're all like, "This is a video game. This is fun." But like, no, this is
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah.
This can happen. Like they're already doing it in China. They're already like, oh god, but they're already
They
doing
got
it.
the credits, the social credit score system in China.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
if that comes here, bro, I'm going to be at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Very fucking bottom.
Well, it's like I say to you guys all the time, like the reason why I don't have my face on here is like I know people could easily find me if they looked, but it's like if I can take extra precautions to like not have a presence, if that's what I feel like doing, then I do that. But I'm also not naive to the fact that I'm being tracked. It doesn't matter. Like you use the internet, we know where you are.
Mhm. And also, it has. I believe it all. And why mom has said this 100 times before. It all. I
Mhm.
believe it's now. I'm agreeing with it. It has a lot. A gender plays a role into this. It's a
Yeah.
lot more dangerous if you're a woman and you show your
Yeah.
your face. Like if somebody takes my head and like puts it over something, I would be sort of alarmed, but then like I'd be okay, it's fine. But I understand where you are
Yeah.
coming from because like it's a
Yeah.
different world, a different animal and stuff. And like again, men in general aren't like I hate saying this, but aren't as polarizing as
Well,
women.
you guys don't really have as much to worry about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like I was even talking this about to the girl I'm seeing. I was like, women when they wake up every day, they have to put on makeup, they have to look good and stuff like that, and that takes a minute, right? But
Yeah.
for us, well, that's not for everybody. Like, well, generally speaking, right? But like
Well,
for us
personal
men,
choice.
yeah, personal choice. But for guys or people who identify as that, all they do is put water on their face, brush their teeth, because this is all they're gonna get. Ugly, because we don't hide behind anything. We have to rely on our personality, and 9 times out of 10, guys' personality they're shit. So
Yeah.
we have it somewhat easy, but at the same time, not really, because we have to work harder. Because
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. Because
Well,
like
not harder.
as a woman, you have to be smart and also stupid. And you have to be beautiful, but you also have to be natural. And you have to be skinny, but you thick. You know? Like
Yeah.
you have to be all the things to be
And that's like
Yeah.
even for dudes, like you have to have a 6-pack, which
Yeah.
I kind of want. But like
I
but
mean,
it like I understand what you're saying, and the words came out completely wrong. But yeah, I like dudes in general. Like we're ugly, and that's it. We're just fucking hideous, and no matter
I don't
what.
know about that.
I think we are because dudes. I speak to my female friends, and they're like, they explain shit much better than me.
Well, I
So-
think the thing is that for women, the bar is so low. We just want to be treated like a human, and we just want some generalized respect. And so, if we get that, we don't really care what you look like.
I wish that
Yeah,
was.
and I just want to acknowledge all the in betweens as well as we're talking
Yeah.
so binary.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
100%. And that's the thing. It gets hard to talk about these things because there's that whole like gray area now,
Because
right?
that's why I get so quiet around these discussions now. Because it's not even out of like political correctness. It's like I don't know how I personally feel about it anymore. Of like,
Yeah.
like I can have the discussion of like society expects this of women, society expects this of men. But even like as you're talking about like not saying certain words with stereotypes, like certain negative words that are used to imply negative cultural stereotypes. It's like I kind of get sick of talking in like a male-female dichotomy because I feel like it just perpetuates that shit. I don't know.
Right.
It's just my brain feels are still wrapping around that shit.
Well, to be fair, even that is a problem. Is that the fact that like everything is based on a male and female perspective of life? That is part of the struggle for someone who is non-conforming their gender, right?
And like even to me personally, like I'm having even now, as of late, I'm having a hard time. But like, okay, how do I talk about this subject to incorporate everything or to everybody? I should say, and it's hard to do because people don't even because old school. There was you would either be in one or two or one of the camps, one of the other camps. But now it's like a myriad. I'm pronouncing that saying that word wrong, but it's like a whole other like thing. So you have to like right now because this concept is so like we're getting more comfortable with it. We're getting like it's been around for a while, understandably, but nobody has been able to talk about it as open and as comfortable as in this time. Like in our parents' time, they wouldn't be able to do this. So like we're in the early stages of still acceptance of not like of like the not how can I say it? Of like
You're
the
trying. You're almost there.
of the non non-binary
There you go.
section, right?
Yeah.
I always forget that one. I was like, how do I say that? Yeah, non-binary section, right? Like we were always taught that there's two, but now you have this third one, and like I think our kids, or even not our kids, but like the generation younger than us is gonna master it. And we are
Yeah.
just still learning the ropes and stuff. Like
Yeah.
my two nieces are way more eloquent in this topic than I am, and I'm almost 30. They're 15, and they're like able to discuss these things without stuttering or stuff because they are like able to deal with not
Yeah.
deal but they're able to understand these concepts better than us because they're born in society where it's normalized. We're born in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's arguably the positive changes of like our more informed cancel culture, right? That these people get to have these discussions. Now, if I may, we have ventured a little far from the China. So
it's okay.
I
appreciate
cool if
that.
we end stream and then we could like chat. We could keep chatting about this shit. I'm down. But how do you feel about pod? Do we add more topics? Do we bring it back to China? Do we feel cozy? I think we're at ending time.
China is the next superpower. That's all I would say.
Okay, Wine Mom, hot takes on China. Give me a hot take on China, Wine Mom.
I don't have a hot take on China. I mean, they're doing what they're doing over there.
It's a big country.
There you go. You heard it here
grasp.
first, folks. You heard it here first, folks. They're doing what they're doing over there. Thanks for tuning in. We're here to bring you the high impact news.
And yeah.
Okay, so it's the same shit, different day. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you tune in on Twitch, we stream live on Mondays. You can hang out with us after and chat, which is where we're going to be hanging out and having that convo. And my camera battery just died, so I'm going to talk through it. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. My name's Bailey. That's Raza. This is Wine Mom. And Wine Mom, say hi one last time. Say hi one last time, Wine Mom.
Hi.
There you go.
What
there
hi?
you go. I don't know.
Really should just be saying bye. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Jeff.
Yes.
Like we live in this post 9/11 world, and me like paranoia and us brown people, we're used to it now since like we think we're being watched all the time. And stuff. So like when you're talking about these things, and I was like, okay, that's normal to me because like we have been monster, or what's the word? Fucking made like we've been looked off. We've been made to look bad in the eyes of society because of history and stuff. But so like I'm not as paranoid now because like I'm seeing the world like for it is. Like fortunately, we live in a society where people can actually make judgment calls now without being influenced by other people now.
Yeah.